Fox 19 Now presents Movies with Mitchell on Fox 19 Now Plus.
Thanks so much for joining us for Movies with Mitchell, where we're bringing cinema to the Queen City. I'm Caroline Gerhardt.
And I'm Mitchell Davey.
Thanks again for joining us for this latest episode. Today, we are talking all things Cincinnati film, and it coincides with a really cool program that's going on right now called Ohio Goes to the Movies. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Ohio Goes to the Movies is a statewide event where different theaters across the state are actually playing movies that either were shot here or take place here.
And I think that people would be shocked to know you can go to the Ohio Goes to the Movies website, and just looking at the list of all of the movies that they're playing across the state and how many of them were shot in the state and then also here in Cincinnati. I mean, I'm still new to the area. I've been here a little over a year, but I was shocked to find out. I mean, obviously now I know, especially from doing Movies with Mitchell, but just all of the things, like how deeply ingrained film is here in the city.
It is, absolutely.
And so we are talking today about a lot of movies that were shot here. One that we're going to jump right into, it's the most notable, I think. I will say, we're going to talk about Superman in a little bit. Spoiler alert. I feel like Superman is going to start to rival this one in years to come.
For sure.
But Rain Man, tell us about all of the places that Rain Man was shot.
So Rain Man is like the most recognizable film in Cincinnati history. Depending on where you ask, like movies, Cincinnati, people always say this one.
Yeah.
It's because this film follows, Charlie Babbitt, played by Tom Cruise, who journeys with his brother with autism named Raymond, played by Dustin Hoffman, an incredible performance across the country. And they actually make a pit stop in Cincinnati towards the beginning of the film.
Right.
In fact, one of the most iconic scenes where they walk down the driveway was shot at St. Anne's Convent in Melbourne, Kentucky. Fun fact, I went on a high school retreat there. Me and my friends walked that driveway. It was so much fun.
Reenacted the scene.
Absolutely,
I love it. That's so cool.
But they also use a house off Madison Road for his childhood home.
Oh, no
They
way.
use the John A. Roebling suspension bridge in the most iconic scene in the film where Raymond actually mimics the humming sound. And then also Pompilio's restaurant in Newport, which is where this scene takes place.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. That is so cool. I love this. I think that people might, obviously they know that Cincinnati is a part of the movie, but people might not realize that it was shot here, and they
Absolutely,
should. So cool. All right, we are moving on to a newer movie, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and this director has become very much part of the zeitgeist, Yorgos. Tell us about this movie and where it was shot in Cincy.
Yeah, so Yorgos Lanthimos, very out there director. If you've seen Poor Things or last year's Begonia, you know exactly what you're getting into with this one.
Yeah.
This follows a doctor named Stephen Murphy, played by Colin Farrell, who is a surgeon that lives in the city with his family. His life is upended with the arrival of Martin, played by Barry Keoghan, who is a mysterious teen that kind of tells him that his family might be threatened. That's all I'll say, because it's a very spoiler-heavy movie in that sense.
Oh, and Nicole Kidman's in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cool. Can't forget Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, I know. So tell me some of the places where it was shot here in Cincy.
Yeah, so Christ Hospital in Auburn Avenue was the main hospital in the film. There's also Riverfront right there with the suspension bridge in the background. Covington Plaza, as mentioned, and also Roger Bacon High School on Vine Street serves as the high school in the film.
I think it's just so wild too, like especially someplace like Christ Hospital, where we're seeing these things that we drive by every day.
And we don't even think anything of it.
No, exactly right. All right, I gave the spoiler for this one. We got to talk about Superman, shot here just a few years ago. And of course, the Museum Center plays a massive role in that movie. So cool. I still can't, every time I'm in the Museum Center, I'm like, oh.
And they're filming the sequel here too shortly.
Right, I know, it's so exciting. I love hearing too that filmmakers experience Cincinnati, they enjoy working here, and then they want to come back.
Yeah.
It's awesome, yes.
So this one uses Union Terminal, as mentioned, both inside and out. You can still recognize like the Art Deco mosaics and the architecture. It's very funny how little they changed in that core scene, because you're like, this just looks like the Museum Center.
Right.
But also they used Lytle Tunnel for a traffic jam, which, any Cincinnatian knows is a very popular hotspot for that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And I'd say the rest of the movie is not filmed in Cincinnati. They used mainly those two locations, but it was filmed in Cleveland, which is only about like 4.5 hours away. So really cool they used the state of Ohio overall to kind of film this one.
Exactly, yeah. And I love that some of like art mimicking life with the Liddell Tunnel. I think that's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Okay, next we're talking about bike riders. I remember when this movie came out, and I had no idea that any of it was shot
Absolutely,
in Cincinnati.
yeah.
So tell us about the plot of this one.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit different. It follows the story of Kathy, played by Jodie Comer, who's a young woman who marries into a motorcycle gang with a member named Benny Cross, played by Austin Butler. And it's really kind of a saga about that kind of motorcycle gang era of like the 60s and 70s, and about the safety that she puts herself in when she's kind of in this world.
Very cool. And so where in the tri-state was this one shot?
Yeah, this was partially shot in Cincinnati, not really downtown, but mainly in the suburbs like, North Side, Middletown, Hamilton, and Price Hill. Also, Newport, Kentucky plays a lot of key roles in this film because it's the kind of those like old style bars and stuff that people know and love from that area.
Yeah.
Are definitely a focus here.
I get that feeling from Newport and even parts of Covington. I feel like they can make it look, I know that's why in a movie that we're about to talk about in a few minutes, they're able to make it look like the 50s and the 60s
Right, yeah.
really naturally. They don't have to do a whole lot. I mean, also to your point about Union Terminal and Superman, they barely had to do anything.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's so cool. And I also think that's why filmmakers keep coming back here, because the less production they have to do, the less money they're
Better,
spending. Yeah, they're all about that. All right, we're talking next about Dark Waters. I hadn't heard of this movie before, so tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Dark Waters is a very fascinating story. It follows the true story of Rob Below, played by Mark Ruffalo, who's a corporate defense lawyer who basically defends companies. But his life is upended when a farmer comes to him and says, my cattle are dying on my farm, please look into this.
Yeah.
At first he's hesitant because that's not his line of work, but as he looks into it, he realizes that it's actually a cover-up from a chemical corporation called DuPont. And it's that story of him kind of fighting this corporation in court.
It feels very much like Aaron Brockovich. Oh, there was
Cincinnati,
the American Ballpark. Yeah, and so does it take place in Cincinnati then?
It takes place surrounding it. So
Okay.
they did film it here, downtown, Fountain Square especially, you see prominently featured in the film. I believe the farm is supposed to take place in West Virginia. They shot it in a suburb of like Hamilton, so
Oh,
it's
very
pretty
cool.
relatively close.
Yeah.
But basically, like you can definitely recognize a lot of locations from this film.
That's so cool. Yeah, like seeing the riverfront shot.
Yeah.
I think that's always like a little pinch me moment, an area that we get to see all the time that the rest of the world gets to
Absolutely,
see
yeah.
how beautiful it is. And then I think also, it's important to note that all of our rural areas, they're able to use that for any agricultural
yeah.
scenes. I feel like we've seen a lot of films utilize that too. Very cool. All right. The next one, it was one of the first movies I heard about that was shot
Yeah.
here. Carol, Arnold's Bar, the largest, the oldest bar in
Right,
Cincinnati,
yeah.
prominently featured. Tell us a little bit about this movie.
Yeah, so this is directed by the same director as Dark Waters, Todd Haynes.
Oh,
He
cool.
must love working here because he keeps coming back.
I love
let's
it.
bring him back again.
Yes.
This film follows Therese, played by Rooney Mara, a department store employee during Christmas of 1952, who was upended by the arrival of Carol, played by Kate Blanchett, a mysterious woman who soon forges a forbidden romance with Therese.
And Sarah Paulson's in it as well,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and I think Sarah Paulson is in the scene that's in Arnold's Bar.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I got to go there, I was like, oh, that's so cool that they shot a whole movie here. I feel like this was the movie that I was referring to, that they were able to use so much of downtown Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
And really didn't have to change a whole lot, just had to change the cars and what people were wearing to make it look like it was this era. Oh, I believe that's the scene right there where
Yeah.
it's in Arnold. So cool. I was gonna ask you if you know if Todd Haynes is from here or anything. I don't think I've heard
I
anything
don't
about
think
it.
I've heard anything about
Yeah.
that. I just think, there's so much to offer in this area for the types of films he makes, and it
Yeah.
just makes sense that he keeps coming back. We love having him.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say, he needs to keep coming back. Okay, the next one is The Old Man and the Gun. I had heard of this movie. I haven't seen
Yeah.
it yet, but I knew that it was Robert Redford's final film. Tell me about the plot of this and then where in Cincy they filmed it.
Yeah, so this is a personal favorite of mine when talking about, Cincinnati movies. It's so underrated. It's directed by David Lowery, who did The Green Knight and the live-action Pete's Dragon remake for Disney, so pretty
cool.
well-known repertoire there. It's the great Robert Redford in a classic crime film about Forrest Tucker, who basically is a career criminal and he's also an escape artist as well, so that's a very interesting angle
Very
for
The
this film.
Sting.
Yeah.
I love it. And Sissy Spacek is incomparable.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with
absolutely.
Sissy Spacek. And so it looks like Newport was used in this one as well?
Yeah, so the village of Bethel in Claremont County was definitely a main focus in this film. They also used Latonia, Newport, and also East Fork State Park for some driving scenes in the film as well.
Very, very cool. I mean, just knowing that legends like Robert Redford and Sissy Spacek spent
Yeah.
time here, I think is just again, another kind of little pinch me moment. I love that they're able to keep on coming back. All right. Airborne is what we're talking about next. Really cool cast. I have not heard. This is kind of like a hidden gem.
A hidden gem,
for movies
I'd say.
shot
Yeah.
in Cincinnati. Yeah, tell
Absolutely.
me about it.
So the film follows Mitchell Goosen, played by Shane McDermott, who's a teen from California who has to move to snowy Cincinnati, which is a very different atmosphere than what he's used to surfing-wise.
Yeah.
And while there, he kind of goes into the world of rollerblading, and it's that kind of exciting kind of underdog story.
That is so cool. And this was like 93, it looks like, in our notes here.
You can definitely tell it by the
Yeah,
visuals.
100%. So it seems like this was a movie, obviously Rain Man, similar era, but this was a more low budget situation happening. And then Seth Green, when you first sent me the notes for this segment, I was like, oh, I love Seth Green. That's so funny that Seth Green spent time here too. And young Jack Black, people just at the start of their careers, I always think that's so funny. And you said this one might actually be available for streaming for free.
It should, depending on where you look. Yeah,
this one is definitely going on my to watch list. Very cool. All right, and then I told Mitchell he didn't know what he was doing when he put this last movie on the list. This was not shot in Cincinnati.
It was not, no.
But it takes place in Cincinnati, and I would like to put it on the record that I did not request for this to be put on the list, which is a shock.
Yeah.
Kit Kittredge and American Girl. So I have to give my spiel for a second.
Yeah.
Kit,
we're here for it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for hearing me out. Kit was my American Girl.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I get to be Kit Kittredge because she wants to be a journalist, and now I'm a journalist in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize it until like after I had already moved here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to be Kit. But this movie is incredible. I have the DVD of it. I without shame, I will admit, I watched it a few months ago. I was like, let me see, does it still live up to the hype?
Yeah.
It is an incredible movie.
Yeah.
Like just for an American Girl movie. I also know it was their first theatrical release out of all of the American Girl movies. I know way too much about this, so I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let you talk.
So as you mentioned, the other American Girl doll movies, not great. This one definitely a step above par. I mean, the cast itself, Abigail Breslin as Kit Kittredge is like insane casting. Also Stanley Tucci, Joan Cusack, Wallace Shawn running around here. How can you not have fun with this?
There's so many good. I mean, like I think when people see Stanley Tucci and Joan Cusack, they're like, Jane Krakowski too.
Yeah.
She's like, they're awesome in it. Oh, and that little boy, he was in Mr. Megoria's Wonder Emporium.
Yeah.
I remember when this came out. Oh my gosh, it is such a good movie. If you haven't seen it and you've lived in Cincinnati your whole life, it's kind of a love letter to the city too.
It is, yeah.
Kit loves Cincinnati. They don't talk about it in the movie, but in her lore, she loves the Reds.
Yeah.
The Redlegs, and so I think if you haven't seen it and you've lived here for a long time, it's a good one to add to your list. Obviously, I'm not biased at all in that standpoint, but I think this is all kind of a love letter to Cincinnati. All of these places utilizing all of the different kind of landscapes we have here, I think is so cool, and I want people to be more aware of it so that more filmmakers come out here.
Absolutely,
and decide to use us as their backdrop. Any films that you one day, or types of films that you would love to see shot here, or maybe a director who you think would really enjoy using the city?
Yeah, I know they just shot an A24 film with Cooper Hoffman in the city.
Cool.
So I know that's going to be releasing either this year or next. I'd say types of films, I'd love to see more big budget blockbusters. We get a lot of the indies here, which are great, using that architecture, the local locations, but really like Superman kind of brings in a different forefront where it's like, big budget, big blockbuster, a lot of eyes on it as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of opens the door for people to see Cincinnati as something where it's like they don't expect it. They're like, hey, this is actually really cool.
Right. Hopefully Superman kind of breaks down some of those doors for us, especially because they're coming back, bringing even more attention. And then of course, from the economical standpoint, it's great money that's coming into the state. And I think that's the other thing that Ohio Goes to the Movies is highlighting really well, how much it has helped bring Cincinnati into the forefront of the country, not just from a local economy standpoint. This was so much fun.
Yeah,
I loved
absolutely.
getting to talk about this because we chatted a little bit. Awards season, it's not really awards season anymore. So we're going to be doing some more movies with Mitchell like this. If you all have anything, you can see our social media at the beginning of this underneath us. So send us a message if there's anything else you feel like you'd want us to talk about. But I think that's going to do it for this
Absolutely,
episode.
yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us.
This has been Movies with Mitchell on Fox 19 Now Plus. Presented by Fox 19 Now.